Alright, so today I want to go over all the reveals we got for the Genesis 2 stuff. Now, this was during the stream from yesterday and today, because it was a 24-hour stream, so it lasted quite some time. But yeah, so we're trying to go over everything. Now, I'm going to be having the trailer going in the background, no audio or anything from that, but just for like the in-between moments where we're, you know, looking at all this stuff and I'm kind of explaining what I know, we'll do that. Anyway, I guess we'll jump straight into it. So I want to start with structures, then I'm going to go into transportation, and then I want to go into items, and then creatures, and then I want to go into biomes. So we'll jump straight into that, and yeah, let's go. Alright, so we're going to start off with the Incubator, which is on screen right now. Now, before we actually get into this entirely, I want you to know I was not here for the entire stream, so I didn't get every single juicy detail. I'm more of guessing, having a slight idea of what this is going to be, all of that. I don't know everything, and if you were on the stream at that point, by all means, tell me in the comments, tell me what it does properly. Because yeah, I wasn't there the entire time. I know some of them, but I don't know all of them. So anyway, yeah, so first we have the Incubator, which should be on the screen right now. So what this will do is it will you can put your eggs inside, your fertilized eggs, and it will incubate them. You have to, if you set the temperature to the correct temperature for that egg, it will actually hatch faster. But what its main use is, because obviously, you know, you can just drop out your egg and put some air cons nearby and boom, you're fine. Why this is useful is because it will tell you the exact stats, and I think they said color regions as well, that the creature from this egg is going to have. So let's say you put in a Rex egg. You will know exactly which stats and which, or what the colors are on that. And so you can figure out, oh, do I want to keep this one or do I want to check another one and get rid of this one? So it's handy. Then, well, no. And also, not entirely sure on this one. I don't think they said anything on this, but it might also say if it has mutation, what mutation it has, all of that. But anyway, so yeah, let's jump to the next one. Alright, so next we have the ammo box. So, this was going to be very handy. If you played Atlas, you'll know that there was this structure you could put on boats. I think even you put on land, it would kind of work. But it would, like, basically work as your fuel source for your cannons or whatever. And they're basically adding that to Ark now. So you can still put all your ammo inside your turrets, your ballistas, your catapults, whatever. You still have all your ammunition in there. But this can either work as your way of supplying that ammunition easily, or it can also work as a way to keep that ammunition up. So instead of having to go to every single turret around your base, you can just have this ammo box and put everything into there, and then it will just put all of the ammo into all your turrets, or into your ballistas, or whatever. Which is quite handy. So, oh, and I think it also has rockets for, like, the rocket turrets. But yeah, very, very handy. So, anyway, let's jump to the next one. Alright, so next up we have the camera system. So this is going to work as you can have like your monitor, I guess, back at your base. So you can, what they call it, the remote camera security system. So you can have the monitor back at your base, and then you can have cameras all around. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to move around with the cameras. You might be able to. But basically, you can look at different parts of the map without actually having to be there. So you could have your base on the, I don't know exactly what the range is. They say it's quite a big range, but I don't know how big. But let's say you are on the island. You can be down by the red obelisk, and just by assuming, I want to say you probably see all the way up to like the dead island, or where all the carnivores spawn, and like only carnivores spawned. And you could just check out, see what there is, see maybe like what creatures there are, if there's an alpha, whatever. But it's gonna come in very, very handy, I think, to have that. Anyway, so we got quite a few structures to go through, so let's go into the next one. Alright, so next we have the Lowdown Mannequin. Now this is like the first one that I don't entirely know what it is for. I wasn't there when it got shown off. But this one, I'm guessing, is basically going to work out as you, and it's called the Lowdown Mannequin, so it makes sense, but basically make loadouts. So you can have your ocean set, and then you can have your winter set, and then you can have your battle set, and you can just easily switch between each set just by coming over this thing and maybe like pushing a button, and then it puts all that on. So that can be pretty handy. I'm seeing this is going to be pretty handy for PvP. Not as much for PvE. I think it'll still be cool, and it'll definitely help for decoration, but I don't think it's going to be a huge thing for PvP, or not PvE, but I think PvP is going to be a very, very big thing to add. Anyway, we have, I think, 2 more structures to go through. Alright, so next we have the Tek crop plot. Now, they didn't reveal a bunch about this, but, I mean, for the most part, we know that you don't have to have direct sunlight to be able to grow stuff in it, which is pretty cool, honestly. That's pretty awesome. Like, that means you can be in the deepest depths of a cave and have your base in there, and you can still plant species X or Y or Z seeds, and you don't have to have these, like, you don't have to have direct sunlight. You can use this to have sunlight. Now, might have other uses. I honestly have no idea. I don't know if anyone does. I think that's the only thing they really announced for it, was the fact that it creates its own sunlight, basically. But still, that's kind of cool. And I'm guessing possibly, because it's Tek, it might grow the things faster, which if it does, would be quite handy. But anyway, let's go to the next structure. I'm not sure if I'd really count it as a structure. I didn't really get to be here for it, but yeah, let's go there. Alright, so next up is the minigun. Now, this is another one I wasn't there for, so I honestly have no idea where or how its use comes in. I don't know if it technically counts as a structure or an item. I don't know if you can even hold it. From the looks of it, because I'm looking at the picture for it right now, and I'm thinking that possibly you might be able to hold it and put it down. So by that logic, I'm not sure if it's going to be counted as a structure or an item. I'm currently just counting as a structure, but it might be an item as well. And if it is, that's going to be awesome. But yeah, so the minigun, obviously, is, I'm assuming, more of like a higher tier assault rifle. You're going to be able to hold more ammo, possibly even do more damage, or maybe it's going to do less damage than the AR, not positive. But it definitely looks dangerous, I'll say that much. It definitely looks like it's going to be very dangerous, and it's going to be very useful for both PvE and PvP, I think. PvP for obviously raids or defending your base or whatever, but PvE, I feel like it's going to come in very handy for taking on certain missions, certain creatures, just having like a creature heading towards your base, just popping this thing down and killing it. I think it could come in quite handy, but yeah. Anyway, I think that's all the structures, so let's head on to the transport items we found out. So the first transport thing they talked about was the Hoversail. So the Hoversail is going to work, from what I understand, as the best mobility item for Genesis Part 2. It's going to be very fast, very speedy, and it's going to be very helpful for getting resources around and everything. Now, a few things from this. It's able to be carried in your inventory, but you can drop it out and ride it. I'm assuming it's going to cost element to power and drive, but still, it's kind of cool that you get to carry around this mobile, this mobile vehicle, and then put it back in your inventory, and then when you want to go back on it, drop it out, start going around, and then, yeah, I can see it come in very, very handy. But another really useful thing is you can actually have 2 people on it. So you can have one that obviously has to control it, so they're going to be like around the sail, like making sure that's going the direction you want. And you can have a second person on the front with a weapon. So you can, like, be flying around in PvP and like shooting all these, guys while you're flying around. Also might be useful for knocking out creatures, because one person can be guiding it, or guiding the Hoversail, and then one person can be shooting with a trank dart, or trank arrows, or whatever. So it definitely seems like it could come in very, very handy for both PvE and PvP. So anyway, yeah, we have one. Well, actually, no. I guess I'll count the other one as a transportation item. So let's go into those. All right. So next up, we have the Canoe. So the Canoe is, well, again, I wasn't here for this one, so I'm not entirely sure the use here. But I mean, obviously, general idea. I'm assuming it's basically going to be like a raft, but you have to row. You can't just sail. You actually have to row your way out. But I think it's going to be very, very handy in general. I don't know, it just seems very much like a raft. So I don't entirely see how it's going to be super helpful, but I'm sure it's definitely going to have giant uses. And as I said, I wasn't here, so they might have said tons of things about how it's going to be useful and everything. And I honestly have no idea. Yeah, anyway, that is the Canoe, and I guess we'll move on to the next one. I'm not sure if it really counts as an item, but it technically is transport. So next up, we have the Genesis ship. So this is going to be the main well, the ship that we're going to be traveling on, and you can actually see the 2 rings there. That's where the map is taking place for the most part. Now, in the trailer, we actually saw there's another area where it seemed like Rockwell infested, and I think that's probably going to be like probably the boss arena, but also I'm not entirely positive if that's the boss arena or just another really dangerous biome, and I'll get back to that later once we get into the biomes. But yeah, kind of crazy looking. Like, that was really insane to see that, and you know, and just thinking about it, it's like I wonder where Rockwell is planning on going, because in the trailer he said that he is controlling it and soon he'll be able to control its destination, which means he obviously has a plan of where he wants to go, but we don't know where that is. You know, maybe we're not at Earth, maybe he wants to go to Earth, or maybe we are at Earth and he wants to go somewhere else. Maybe it's somewhere where the element first became a thing. Who knows? Anyway, okay, that's the last of the transports, so let's move on to the items. Alright, so what we have here is the Tek Bow. Now, like most of these from now on, I was not here for, so I'm not going to have the most information on it. But from what I've heard, and like I just said, I wasn't here, but like we can kind of get from the concept art and everything, it looks like when you just bring it out, it's going to be this, like, basically looks like it's just a handle. Nothing else. But with tech weapons, you know, you pull it out and then it starts kind of like the gears and everything start moving around. It's like kind of switches up where everything is, and then you can use it. So I'm assuming that's what this is going to be like. You're like, pull it out and it's just going to be that little handle thing, but then you're like, and then it just becomes the bow and then you can start using it. Now, a few things I've heard is, first of all, there's going to be different arrow types, and they don't actually use arrows. It's actually using element to create arrows. So you don't have to have all these different arrow types and pump it into the bow and then, you know, oh, you want to switch out arrow type? Okay. Into the inventory, switch it out. Now go back out and pull it. No, I'm assuming it's going to be like the press of a button, switches the arrow type, which is going to be pretty cool, honestly. So, yeah, pretty awesome there. And then, also, when you fully charge the bow, apparently it's going to be about as fast as a bullet, meaning it's going to be very hard to dodge, because technically you can dodge bullets, but like if someone shoots a bullet straight at you and you weren't already gone from that spot, then it's going to hit you no matter what. So I'm assuming that's what this is going to be like. It's going to go the exact way that normal bullets do with the like tech weapons. So, or not tech weapons, but normal weapons. So kind of crazy there, but definitely pretty cool that we're going to have a Tek Bow finally, because I'm going to be honest, one of my favorite items in Ark is the bow. I'm pretty decent with it, and I'm always just a fan of using the bow. But anyway, so let's move on to the next item. Alright, so next up we have the Federation Tech Armor. So, to be honest, it looks pretty epic. It definitely looks like it's going to be very handy. And, apparently, you're going to have it from the beginning. That's kind of something I was like trying to figure out. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. It doesn't really seem like Ark to just give you armor straight off the bat. But apparently you are going to be getting this tech armor straight off the bat, which is kind of crazy. So definitely interesting there. Now, apparently, then this is, I just heard this from somewhere else. I don't remember exactly where, but apparently you're also going to be able to put this as basically like a skin onto your existing tech armor. So if you have this really powerful tech armor that's way more powerful than this stuff, you can put it on to your current tech armor and basically give it a skin. So it looks like this new armor, but has the exact same stats and everything as your old armor. So yeah, it definitely seems cool, and I've got to say, I'm a huge fan of the design of this one, and I'm very glad that they chose a new design for tech armor, because as much a fan as I am of the like normal tech armor, we've only ever had that tech armor. There's never been anything new. It's just that tech armor. So having something new and fresh is kind of cool. So anyway, let's move on to the next one. Alright, so next up is the Tek Pistol. So this thing looks like it's actually gonna have a few uses. First of all, it has 3 different, like, I guess, abilities. So as its killing mode, which, you know, just shooting lasers or bullets or whatever, I assume lasers. Who knows, maybe it'll work exact same as a tech rifle, maybe it won't, who knows. But it's also going to have a stun mode, which I'm assuming is you're going to hit something or like shoot something with it, and then it's just going to be stuck. Maybe like when you whip something, it's kind of like stuck there for a bit, or maybe it's going to be like a bola, where once you shoot it, it's just kind of like stuck there, can't do anything for a bit. Either of those would be pretty cool, although personally I prefer the bola method, like not the actual like using a bola, but like you stun it and just stays there for a bit, just can't move or anything, which, yeah, that would be pretty cool. But yeah, and then we have the healing mode. So I'm assuming once you shoot something, so like your own creature or something, you're going to shoot it and then it's going to heal it up, which is going to be kind of handy. That's going to be pretty like amazing for both PvP and PvE, because that means for raids and everything, you're going to have this item that you can heal up your creatures from your own hand. You don't need a snow owl, or you need to put veggie cakes in it, or like a Daedon or whatever. You need a pistol that you can heal them up. So that's going to be pretty awesome. And then obviously for PvE's sake, like, in the middle of a boss battle and, your creatures are about to die, you can just start shooting them with your Tek Pistol and then boom, now they're pretty decent health again. So that's going to be pretty epic. I'm pretty excited for that one. But I think overall, the item I'm most looking forward to is definitely the Tek Bow, just because personally, as I said before, bow is definitely my favorite weapon. Anyway, let's move on to the creatures. Alright, so something we actually got to see a while back, and like this was one of the first teasers. This is the third teaser they had for Genesis before the actual live stream where they gave all the reveals and everything, and that was the Nagaland. Now this thing is kind of terrifying, kind of cute in its normal phase, or its normal state, but in its second state, where it's about to attack, or is attacking, kind of terrifying. But here's the cool thing. Not only is it just looks terrifying, it is terrifying because it has the ability to mind control. Now I heard that it also has the ability to mind control people. Now I actually kind of stated this a bit in my trailer reaction and breakdown video. If you haven't seen that, I definitely recommend it. I noticed quite a bit. I might have just noticed stuff you noticed. Maybe you noticed more stuff than I did. I'm not positive. If you did notice something, go back to that video and let me know, because yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that trailer that probably we missed and definitely holds something of use. But anyway, yeah, as I was saying in that video, this thing has the ability to mind control. Now, I'm assuming it's going to be probably similar to how the Giga's Rage work. So when a Giga takes too much damage, it will turn on everything. So it'll still be killing wild stuff, but it can also start hitting your tamed stuff. So that's really terrifying because Gigas are really powerful. So it's really terrifying, the Giga's Rage. But I have a feeling that this Nagaland is going to have something very similar. Now, obviously, it's not going to be damage-based, I think. I think what it's going to be is it latches onto a creature, and then that creature will basically go into a rage mode where it will attack anything. Not just, wild creatures, but it'll attack you, it'll attack your creatures, it'll attack everything. So, and maybe you'll have to kill the Nagaland to be able to bring the creature back, who knows. They also hinted at the fact that this might be a sacrificial tame. So to tame it, you have to sacrifice some of your creatures, which is going to be kind of interesting. We don't have very many tames like that so far. I think the only tames we really have is the, Troodon and the Bloodstalker. And technically the Bloodstalker, you don't need to sacrifice a tame, but if you want a super effective tame for a Bloodstalker, you have to sacrifice a tame so it can pick it up, suck its blood, kill it, and then it'll be tamed. So kind of demented, I know. But who knows? Maybe that's what this guy will be like. Anyway, let's go on to the next creature. Alright, so I know I said creature, but I forgot that this is actually multiple creatures. So I'm going to try to, go through all the pictures while I'm talking here. But we actually have a few different creatures here. So we have 3 different creatures. So I'll show them right now. Dilo, then we have the Reaper, and then we have the Equus. And I'm feeling, these are going to be, very biome specific, kind of like Genesis, where you had all the biome specific creatures. So you had all the X creatures in the volcano biome had this kind of volcanic look on their back, but then all the X creatures in the bog kind of had this weird tint of yellow, and it's just very interesting colors. And, you know, all these different X variants from all these different areas have these very specific traits to them, but they're all in those specific biomes. And I definitely agree with them that they should keep that up, because it was definitely pretty cool seeing all those X creatures. As annoying as it was, still pretty cool. Anyway, I don't know if this is going to be exactly like the X creatures from Genesis Part 1, because right here, they call it Genesis, or they call it the Gen X. So it might be a completely different variant of X creatures, or maybe it's going to be the exact same. If it's going to be the exact same, like as X variants, that's going to be kind of terrifying, because X creatures have a 2.5 times damage reduction, or damage reduction to whatever's hitting them. They don't do 2.5 times less damage, they take 2.5 times less damage. So they're kind of terrifying. And then imagine that on top of a Reaper. That's going to be really terrifying, because Reapers are so powerful as is, and if you don't have a light pet, you do like no damage to them anyway. And then imagine a 2.5 times armor, like basically armor, on top of a Reaper's already armored body. That's going to be terrifying. That's going to do so much damage, and you're going to be doing like none if you have a light pet, or if you don't have a light pet. And even if you have a light pet, you're still going to be doing such little damage. But yeah, that's going to be very, very crazy to see. But yeah, and then we have the Equus, which looks pretty epic. I'm not the biggest fan of Equuses. It's definitely a good early game tame, and maybe that's going to be in the Eden area, which I'll get back to the Eden area once we get into biomes. But who knows, maybe that'll be an Eden Zone area creature, or maybe it'll be the more Aberration-y feeling. And if it is the Aberration Zone, then I kind of feel like I'm not going to really be using it, because that seems like a really scary place to go tame a horse, if you know what I mean. So, we'll see. And then, I guess I'll show off the Dilo real quick. So, Dilo definitely looks pretty interesting. I have a feeling that looks more like it's going to be in that little, like, I don't know. It's either going to be in the Aberrant area, which is possible, or it could be in the Rockwell infested zone, because that also looks like it could be there and definitely fit. Anyway, let's move on to the next creature. So, next up, we have the Shadowmane. This thing looks amazing. Now, apparently, the female has the ability to go invisible, but the male cannot. The male has this roar ability that makes it so like when you have a pack alpha, it'll make all of the creatures, or all the pack creatures, get a damage boost and everything. So I'm assuming that's what the male's going to be able to do. But the female can go invisible. But the female can also make the male go invisible. So the male on its own cannot go invisible, but the female can make the male go invisible. Which is kind of terrifying, the fact that, you can have an invisible creature stalking you down. Now, maybe it's going to be like a rock drake invisible, where it's not like invisible, but it's not really. You can still see it, but it's like looks invisible for the most part. Or maybe they're going to go proper invisible, and you just don't know what's coming until it's there. You're just like walking down your path, and then all of a sudden just appears out of nowhere and roars at you and starts attacking you. And yeah, that would be terrifying, but would be awesome to see. Like if that's gonna happen, it can just come out from invisibility and you just can't see it at all. That'd be pretty epic. Anyway, so let's go on to the next creature. Alright, so I don't know if I really count this as a creature. I mean, we did see it in the wild in the trailer, and it might be a wild creature that you have to kill, kind of like the enforcers and the scouts, where you have to kill it, and then you get a blueprint, and then you can craft the blueprint. Maybe that's what it's going to be like, maybe not. But the actual Strider itself doesn't actually, or like cannot use that laser beam that we saw in the trailer. That's actually an attachment, which will be with a harvesting attachment. There's going to be tons of different attachments that will do tons of different things. Obviously, from the picture we know of the harvesting attachment, they might have mentioned other ones. I was not here during this one, so I don't know. But that shows that they do harvest things with that attachment. but it's kind of interesting looking, very, very interesting looking. So definitely excited for the Strider. That definitely is going to be very interesting to see in Arc, first of all. But yeah, just the whole system behind it, it's going to be very, very interesting. But yeah, let's move on to the last animal. Alright, so the last animal we have is the, Astrodelphus, which seems very much similar to a specific, space whale we've had in the past named Astrocetus. But I think this one's more dolphin-like. So, definitely interesting looking. I'm definitely a fan. It definitely looks very, very cool, and I've definitely said definitely way too many times. Most definitely. But it is very, very cool looking. I'm very excited to see this in-game. And from the looks of a picture they sent a long time, or they showed a long time ago, it might have a ability to kind of go out in space, and you can kind of go around the ship, which would be pretty cool. I don't entirely see how this could be useful too much in the map itself, unless maybe the Aberration Zone. Who knows? Maybe it's faster than it looks. It definitely could be. But yeah, looks pretty epic. I'm definitely excited for this. But anyway, let's go to the next thing, which is actually going to be the biomes. So we're finally going to be able to get to the biomes. Alright, so the first biome we get to take a look at is the Eden Zone. Or that's the kind of area they call it, is the Eden Zone or the Garden of Eden. And this zone is going to be the perfect place to start off, get yourself prepared, maybe get some good creatures, and then head into the more dangerous areas. So it's definitely going to be very interesting to this, but it's very, very big. And yeah, it's definitely very cool to see this, because it's very, from what I saw, it's very reminiscent of both the Chalk Hills from the not Crystal Isles, the Valgero, and the Highlands from Ragnarok. So definitely seems a lot like those two combined, but not complaining, because out of both of those maps, those were my favorite biomes in those maps. So definitely excited for that. I'm most likely going to be starting out in that zone. Although, when we go into Genesis 2, I might go spawn in every zone we can and then start off. Who knows? I wouldn't mind trying to explore the different areas before we really properly get started, but we'll see. Anyway, so that's the Eden Zone, which looks amazing. Yeah, it's definitely going to be very, very exciting. But let's go to the next area, the Trench. Now, I don't know if this is properly what the Trench is going to be called. I don't know if it's going to properly be called the Trench. It definitely could be, but yeah, it seems very, very big, and I think this is basically the area where the Eden Zone and the more aberration feeling area link together. So you can use this to get over to the other side. So that's going to be very, very interesting, especially because at the very bottom is where all the water is. So they said there's a lot of water at the very bottom of this area, and then there's bridges all around. And even that little outpost you see at the top, kind of sticks out. Apparently, you're going to be able to go up there and kind of look around. So that's going to be pretty cool to see. And, go in there and just look around, see everything. Maybe we'll even be able to interact with the robots, whether just, maybe it's just going to be, passing by. Or maybe, we're actually going to be able to talk to them or, interact with them or any way. Maybe they're going to be aggressive. I doubt it, but it's possible. But yeah, anyway, that is the, I guess, Trench. I don't know if it has a proper name right now. Maybe that is its proper name. Honestly, I have no idea. But anyway, let's go to the next area. Alright, so next up, we have kind of the Aberration Zone. I don't know if we really have a name. This is another area I was not here for, so I don't know too terribly much about it. But it's definitely very, very interesting looking. And, if you saw the trailer, I mean, if you didn't see the trailer, what are you doing here? Go watch the trailer, or even, watch the trailer, and then watch my trailer breakdown and, reaction and breakdown video. And then come back to this, so we can go through everything. But this area looks amazing, especially from the trailer, and then from this. Oh, looks like it's gonna be a beautiful area. But, I'm guessing, because it looks very Aberration reminiscent. And, yeah, it just seems a lot like it's gonna be very Aberration Lake, which doesn't surprise me. You know, Rockwell's area where he stayed for how long was Aberration, so it doesn't surprise me that he made or maybe he didn't even make an area. Maybe this was already part of the Genesis ship. Maybe it's possible that he didn't actually make this entire biome. Maybe this was actually part of it, so you had the Eden Zone and then this area. That is possible. But yeah, so definitely beautiful looking area. Definitely very excited to explore it. Although I'm expecting it's going to be very, very dangerous. So, and I think this is where the Shadowmane spawns. But yeah, definitely very exciting. Alright, so lastly, and this is the very last reveal they showed. Or not the very last, but the second to last. The last one they did was the Tek crop plot, but this one was definitely, I feel like, should have been the last one, because this one's definitely crazier. So, this seems to be where Rockwell has definitely manifested himself. And I'm thinking the theory of the fact that Rockwell is no longer just Rockwell, you know, like where he was on Aberration, where he's just, you know, this body with tentacles. I think he's no longer just a body. I think he's literally, like put himself onto the ship. Like, all this, you know, growth you see around, I think that literally is Rockwell now. I think he literally has put himself on everything, and he is manifested all over this area and just, you know, corrupted this area with himself. So, and who knows, maybe it's just going to be another biome. I mean, we saw the Nagaland in this area in the trailer, but we also get to see the biome itself here, which, yeah, kind of crazy. And who knows, yeah, as I was saying, this could just be a biome that, you know, you just can go into, maybe hunt the Nagaland down and tame him, or maybe this is going to be the boss arena, because it is definitely possible that creature we saw at the end of Genesis Part 2 teaser trailer was the boss. Am I positive on that? No. I hope it isn't, just because I kind of hope they kind of leave the boss to either the launch trailer or they don't tell us at all and we just get to see it. Kind of like what they did when Aberration released. We didn't know what the boss was or who he was until after everyone started doing the boss, and then we started saying, oh, that's Rockwell, the guy from the island and Scorched Earth that, you know, was like, you know, was a scientist and then became evil, and now this happened. And so who knows, maybe this is going to be the boss arena, and maybe that creature that we saw was Rockwell himself, but I'm not positive on that. It definitely is possible that that was just a creature that maybe is defending Rockwell. But yeah, this is very creepy looking zone. So definitely interesting, definitely scary, and I'm assuming this is going to be where the Nagaland spawns, because that's what we saw from the trailer. And also, I feel like the Nagaland doesn't really fit in anywhere else. Maybe the Aberration Zone, but I'm honestly not even sure there. But yeah, anyway, I think that's everything that they revealed on the stream that they did. But yeah, definitely very cool. And on top of that, congrats to Wildcard. This year they raised, I'm pretty sure, $175,000 for the Extra Life. So pretty crazy, not gonna lie. So that's kind of awesome. So yeah, anyway, I think that's basically it. So I think I'm gonna run through the trailer. I'm gonna just have the trailer go one more time, and then yeah, we're gonna end off the video there. But yeah, if you guys have enjoyed, like, consider liking, so that way other people can see this video, because who knows, maybe this will enlighten some people, or maybe, you know, maybe everyone knows this. Maybe you guys can even, or like, you know, if you don't know some of these things, maybe you can get other people here who do know the things, and then they can correct me in certain areas. Who knows? Anyway, also, you know, consider subscribing. Although I don't really have much else to do on Genesis Part 2, like anything right now, I am very soon to defeat Genesis Part 1 on Alpha level on solo. And, you know, we have a few other series going. I'm also planning on starting a new one. But anyway, enough with self-promotion. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Goodbye.
Welcome, survivor. Enjoy the view. You see before you the pinnacle of mankind's ingenuity. All of humanity's hopes and dreams carefully nestled within this lifeboat. Each of its shining rings are laden with miracles of science and nature. A paradise where the boundary between the biological and technological has been all but erased. And now all of it is mine. I control this vessel now. I command its evolution, and very soon, its destination. From there, my will shall spread across the cosmos forever, infinite and undying. And there's nothing you or that witless puppet, that shadow of her, can do to stop me. I have already set my designs in motion. Our future awaits.